On July the 1st, Hong Kongers woke up to a brand new reality. On the eve of the 23rd handover anniversary from Britain to China, the new national security law came into force. One Chinese official called it a birthday gift. Critics feared it would crush wide-ranging freedoms in Hong Kong. Supporters hoped it would bring stability after a year of protests.
The enactment of the national law is regarded as the most significant development in the relationship between the central authorities and the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region since Hong Kong's return to the motherland.
Away from the official celebrations, many found other ways to mark the occasion. Protesters hit the streets. More than 300 people were arrested in the clashes, 10 under the new law. Foreign countries expressed their displeasure. Washington slapping sanctions on officials as high up as the chief executive. Britain, meanwhile, is creating a route to citizenship for almost 3 million citizens of its former colony after declaring the law breaches the handover agreement.
It is a clear and serious violation of the joint declaration, the treaty between the United Kingdom and China.
Authorities have repeatedly denied accusations of a crackdown on rights and freedoms.
Our new national security law, the provisions, they are actually more mild than a lot of the national security legislation already in place in many Western countries.
Hong Kong has been divided since before the national security law, before last year's protests. Do you think the city will ever be able to overcome these divisions?
Well, Hong Kong is not unique in this respect. US is highly divided. Same with UK or many European countries. But I don't see any real problem. You know, it is also the hallmark of a diverse and pluralistic society.
Since the law took effect and as 4 waves of COVID-19 swept through the city, the protests died down. These streets were once battlegrounds. More than 10,000 people were arrested in the month-long clashes between police and protesters. Now protests like the ones we saw in 2019 are rare as the movement takes on a different form. Some prominent activists decided to flee the city. Nathan Law recently met with the British government and is urging the international community to stand up to what he calls China's authoritarian influence.
Because that threat from them is not only on Hong Kong or in their country, but also they're posing threats to the democratic system overseas.
Some activists who stayed in Hong Kong, like Joshua Wong, are now behind bars over charges linked to an unlawful rally in 2019. Then in November, a fresh controversy. China's parliament gave Hong Kong authorities new powers to curb dissent. Carrie Lam immediately kicked 4 pro-democracy lawmakers out of office. Remaining opposition members quit in solidarity, leaving the legislature without opposition Democrats for the first time since the handover. As one now former lawmaker sorted through her office, she said the next move was unclear.
There's so much fire, passion, tears and blood. And it's very strenuous. And it seems that every time Hong Kong protesters, especially our young, would escalate their protest, Beijing would just tighten the snooze. And so we seem to be in a no-win situation.
Still, some pro-democracy figures have hope for Hong Kong's future.
I do think that in the future, the Chinese Communist Party will face a lot of internal and external problems. Their legitimacy will be challenged, and by then there will be changes. So I hope that even if it takes decades of time, the democracy will still land in Hong Kong, and by then I'm able to go back to see my families and to see everything I miss from Hong Kong.
Michelle Hennessy, TRT World, Hong Kong.